Good morning. It's time for our daily devotion. My wife Jane is substitute teaching today, and she's teaching 8th grade. And we've already been texting back and forth about her unruly students who are showing her no respect whatsoever. Back a long time ago, when I was a teenager, Aretha Franklin sang a song about respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Sometimes we think of disrespect as a problem with children or with teenagers or even with young adults. The truth is, though, that disrespect is a problem throughout our society and culture, and I see more disrespect all the time in the walls of the church for the authorities that are there. God has placed a certain chain of command, if you will. He has put a certain authority matrix in place. And he has said that those of us who are Christ followers are to submit to the authorities above us, except in very extreme circumstances or situations where we might be asked to do something which violates what we believe the Word of God teaches. But just not liking an authority, or not just agreeing with an authority, or not just being on the same plan as an authority, or the same page as an authority, those are not excuses not to submit to the authority. As a matter of fact, the Bible is very clear that by submitting to the authority above us, even when we don't agree, and even when we don't particularly like them as a person, or maybe even respect the position they hold, by submitting to them, we are a witness to them of the order that God has established. And when we are a witness of the order that God has established, then God can use that to speak to other people. Now, there's a certain amount of disrespect and coming of age that happens in teenagers, and we all know that, and we all participated in that as we grew up. It doesn't make it right, but it's kind of a normal part of life and the process of maturing. But the truth is that as adults, as parents, as grandparents, as members of a church, as workers at a job, as students in a school, we are to set an example to those who are younger than us that submitting to authority is the right thing to do. Believe me, I can tell you story after story in my own life where I was working for a person. I didn't necessarily like them. I didn't necessarily agree with them. I didn't even necessarily agree with the way they did things. And sometimes I thought I knew better, and sometimes I did know better. But I could tell you dozens of stories about how submitting to their authority was a great opportunity for me then later to come back and share with them why I was submitting to their authority, or there were opportunities to talk to other people about why I was submitting to their authority, even though it didn't look like I should. And that opened up the opportunity for me to explain the fact that because I'm a follower of Christ, there are some things that I do in my life, and one of those things is submit to the authority. And that can be as simple as obeying the speed limit, because the authority has said this is what the speed is, and this is what you should drive. Going the wrong way into a parking lot, trying to get by not following the rules, not listening to the people who are in authority over you, not following the directions of your boss, not following the leadership of your spiritual leaders at church, like your deacons and your pastors. But all of those things are disrespectful and violate the principles by which those of us who follow Christ are encouraged to live. It's for our own good. It's for the good of society and culture. Imagine a society where everyone was respectful of those who were in authority over them, those who were older than them, those who knew better than them. And imagine what it would be like to live in a world where people respected the laws and respected the government and respected its leaders. Doesn't mean we always agree. It doesn't mean we always like. It certainly doesn't mean we always love the way people are doing something. But it does mean that as followers of Christ, we are to be respectful. So, in the words of Aretha Franklin, R-E-S-P-E-C-T today, respect those in authority over you and make it a great day. And I'll see you next time.